Welcome to motoringnorthwest.com. It's me, Mark Stone, 1/3 of the three old gits, and Skoda's latest Fabia Monte Carlo. Can I say from the off, this has been one of the most entertaining little cars I've driven in a long time. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time behind the wheel. Having done 250 miles in it, been getting about 44 to the gallon mean average, no matter how I've driven it, slowly, softly, or giving it the beans. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend the last 7 or 8 days with. Right, as I said, this is the latest edition of the Fabia, and this is the Monte Carlo. The Fabias start at 12,840, working their way all the way up to the Monte Carlo, which is the top one. The Monte Carlo itself starts at 17,180, but add a few toys and it is a bit of a case of ouch. This one is exactly £20,000. Engine-wise, they range from 75 horsepower all the way up to 110 horsepower. They are all 1 litre 3-cylinder petrols, your manual transmission, or in the case of this, your 7-speed DSG, which gives you drive, it gives you sport, and it gives you clutchless sequential. It does get quite lively in sport mode, and you can have a barrel of fun with it in clutchless sequential. Right, this particular one, the Monte Carlo, this one is in what they call meteor grey. I'm still a great believer that the modern trend for grey, back in the day it used to be called primer. However, it's fashionable, so there you have it. As I said, this one's got quite a lot of toys fitted to it with 16-inch alloys. When you push it, it's a very sporty exhaust note on it. But for a small hatchback, it's great fun. It's an attractive looking little car. The Fabia name has been around for a long time. It's got now its Volkswagen ancestry, I suppose you could say, with the neat creases, the lines, everything else. It holds a reasonable amount of luggage. You've got just short of 400 litres with the back seats up. Around 1,300 with the back seats down, so it's actually sizable inside. The interior, well, you've got a sports leather D-shaped steering wheel, leather trim. You've got the red and black carbon fibre trim seating. It is a little bit plasticky in parts, but it's a small hatchback, and if you trace it back to the more basic ones, that's what people who are after them are more than likely to want. The Monte Carlo, given its price, will have a more limited sales, but as I said, it's great fun and it looks good. It handles an absolute treat. It really does. It's limpet-like when it's flying round the bends. As I said, this one's plenty of toys on it, but for what you're after, it's more than anything that you want. The Monte Carlo will also enhance the customer range. They did away with the VRS Fabia, which was always considered to be something of a shame because in petrol and diesel they were great little cars. Now all the Fabias are petrol only, Skoda going the way of everybody else. But with 110 brake horsepower under the bonnet, little chubby wheels and tyres, everything else, sports interior, you could say the VRS successor is this one. Skoda make a good, honest range of cars. I've always said they're the Volkswagen for the sensible buyer. But the new Fabia will take the Fabia name on. The Fabia name has been in the Skoda range for a long, long time. It's always been one of the smaller, better value cars. And as I said, starting at just over 12,000 all the way up to 20 for this. There's a Fabia for everybody. But if you can afford it, go for the Monte Carlo. It's a load of fun to drive, economical, reasonable amount of room. I mean, this sort of car will be bought predominantly for 2 people with children, or just 2 people, or for 1 person to commute to and from working. So the fact there's not a vast amount of interior space doesn't make a lot of difference. We have plenty of cup holders, cubbies, it's got sat-nav, it's got DAB radio, it's got reversing radar, it's all the bits and pieces you might want. Plus also, it's got a decent Bluetooth system, and the mobile phone volume when you're travelling along is nice and loud, which is something that a lot of manufacturers now are doing. To make you stop, they're making it so you can't really hear your connected telephone. Skoda, I'm delighted to say, allow you plenty of volume so you can hear what's going on, you can have your conversation. which means you're hands-free and not distracted. But apart from that, great little car. If you're looking for a small hatchback, go and have a look at one of Skoda's new Fabias. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm certainly not disappointed with this car. As I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with this car. 250 very, very enjoyable miles, mixed motoring, motorway, A roads, and some decent Cumbrian B roads. If you want to read the full review, go to motoringnorthwest.com. Or go to the Backseat Driver radio show on Drystone Radio, where you will be able to hear my full verbal review. Thanks very much for joining me.